This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
Hello everyone and welcome to our special coverage of the press conference ahead of the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China. The Congress will open at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing on Sunday. Due to COVID restrictions, reporters are gathering at the Hotel Nico New Century Beijing, one of the media service sites for the meeting. We will go live to the scenes in just a few minutes. Here in the studio, I have Professor Wang Xinglong from Beijing Normal University and Mr. Li Yong, Senior Fellow of the China Association of International Trade. All right, let's head over now to reporters Dai Kai at the Great Hall of the People and Feng Yilei at the Hotel Nico New Century, where other members of the press are gathered. Kai and Yilei, good afternoon to the both of you. Kai, let me start with you. You're outside the main venue. Now brief us on what will happen from there.
Yes, I'm right now at the Great Hall of the People, and the meeting will begin soon. So unlike the press conference 5 years ago, this year's press conference, as you mentioned, journalists will be attending remotely due to COVID protocol, and today's meeting will raise the curtain for the 20th CPC National Congress, which begins on Sunday, and officials today are expected to give us an idea of what the agenda might look like in the coming week. More than 2,200 delegates will take part. They are here on behalf of the some 96 million party members. And you can see from the list of the delegates that there is a good mix of delegates. They're actually from all sectors of the economy and all walks of life, actually. And together they will review CPC's achievements over the past 5 years and will chart the course in the coming 5 years and even beyond. So this is why this gathering around the corner is highly anticipated and watched closely by media outlets, not just here in China, but also around the world. And just a few days ago, the 19th CPC Central Committee concluded its 7th and last plenary session, and the communique it issued defined the last 5 years as unusual and extraordinary. And it now says is embarking on a new journey toward building a modern socialist country in all respects. Back to you in the studio, Zhengshi.
And Yilei, coming to you now, you along with other members of the media have been gathered ahead of the party congress opening tomorrow. What is being closely watched by the press?
Yes, exactly, Zhengshi. I'm right here at the press center for the Congress, and as you can see behind me, this venue is already full of reporters ready to learn more about the preparation and the agenda of the upcoming Congress. And as this big event convenes at a crucial moment, it has already drawn widespread attention both at home and from abroad. So far, it is reported that about 2,500 reporters have registered, exceeding even the number of the delegates, and that include about 150 reporters from Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, and also about 750 foreign reporters. And earlier, I've already managed to talk to some of the foreign reporters traveled all the way from their home country to China, particularly for this big event, and they told me some of them have already taken part in, for example, media tours and field interviews. As they told me, some of them are interested in, for example, what kind of economic policies will come out of this this Congress, because some may have an important impact on the global economic and financial landscape. And besides, top concerns also include how China will further build a community with a shared future for mankind, or in other words, how China will attempt to resolve conflicts and promote peace across the world. And apart from that, they also care about the concept of the Chinese nation, whether that concept will further strengthen ties among people living in ethnic minority regions in Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. And also, they are keen to learn more about China's fast development of, for example, this outer space exploration and the transformation of China's energy structure. And for all these questions, reporters will be able to find out themselves as they attend the opening and closing ceremonies, where they will have access to delegates at the so-called delegate passages, where they can ask delegates questions face to face. And apart from that, the delegates will also be accessible via video links at 5 press conferences and 5 group interviews, and also some one-on-one interview opportunities. And I think just like all the reporters in attendance, the whole world is now looking forward to finding out China's future steps. Back to you.
Yilei Kai, the press conference will get underway in about 10 minutes' time. We'll watch together for more clues into the upcoming Party Congress. Thank you so much for your report. Appreciate it. 2,296 representatives from the grassroots to the national level are participating in the 20th CPC National Congress. These delegates were elected by millions of party members across China. Take a look.
The CPC National Congress is one of China's most important political events. It is held every 5 years to set the party's national objectives and elect its top leadership. At a workshop for provincial and ministerial officials, President Xi said the 20th CPC National Congress will be a very important event, taking place at a crucial moment, with China embarking on a new journey to fully build a modern socialist country. He also pointed out that the 20th CPC National Congress will make decisions on strategic tasks and important measures to be undertaken in the next 5 years. A total of 2,296 delegates have been elected to the upcoming National Congress. They will represent the nation's 96 million party members. 33.6% of them are from the grassroots level, including 8.4% of production workers, 3.7% of farmers, and 11.6% technical personnel. Female delegates account for 27% of the total. That's 2.8% higher than the previous National Congress. In terms of broader representation, there are 264 delegates from 40 minority groups, totaling 11.5%. The average age of the delegates is 52.2 years old. Among them, 59.7% are under 55 and 18.9% are under 45. In terms of education, 52.7% have postgraduate degrees and 36% have undergraduate degrees.
Now I'm joined in the studio by Wang Xingsong, Associate Professor at the School of Social Development and Public Policy at Beijing Normal University, and Li Yong, Senior Fellow of China Association of International Trade. Gentlemen, fantastic to have both of you joining me on our special coverage today. I think it's incredibly important for our viewers to be caught up with why this party congress in particular is so important. We know they're held every 5 years. Professor Wang, let me start with you. What is your take on the special significance of the CPC's 20th National Congress?
Well, let me start with the timing of this party congress. And everyone now knows that in 2021, China has achieved the first centenary goal, which was to make China a moderately well-off society. And now China is on the path to accomplishing the second centenary goal, which is to by 2049 make China a socialist strong nation. So this upcoming Congress is the first one after 2021. So everybody is expecting how this Congress is going to inaugurate a blueprint for how China is going to take on the path to achieve this second centenary goal. And secondly, I think China at this right moment is experiencing a series of challenges, both domestic and international ones. Internationally, the U.S. tension obviously is a factor that we're all watching about to see how this is going to unravel and how China is going to undertake this difficult task of making a sustainable relationship with the U.S. in the longer run. And domestically, obviously, China is also fighting an uphill battle in terms of the downward economic pressure. But thirdly, I think in the last 10 years, China has under the leadership of Communist Party of China, with President General Secretary Xi Jinping as the leadership core, has accumulated a lot of experience in terms of governance and self-revolution of the party. So we're talking about the discipline inspection throughout the entire party in the past 10 years. And the latest figure shows that over the past 10 years, over 4 million cases were investigated involving over 4 million party members. This is a sweeping campaign to really clean the party, to make party members behave. So how this experience is going to be carried forward in the next 5 years, if not longer, is all very important. And that's what I think this upcoming party congress is a very significant event that everybody's watching.
It really echoes what our reporters have just told us, the charting up of the future plans and policy directions in the future. That is why a lot of people really are waiting with bated breath to find out what will be covered at the party congress this time. Mr. Li, you and I were just talking about the significance of this party congress. You had a theory that growth will continue to be a key word at this party congress. I'm excited to learn more.
Yes, I think this is a really important meeting, with the significance being described by Professor Wang. So I'm going to talk about growth, both as a word as well as an acronym. As a word, this Congress is going to have implication on Chinese economy as well as the world economy, given the fact that China is the second largest economy. So its policy implications is not going to just to have an impact on China.
Absolutely.
So this is the growth part of it as a word, but there are 6 elements, following as a kind of an acronym, A, G. So that is going to be the goal. I think we are going to learn from this Congress what kind of a goal and targets we're going to have, in the next 5 years and beyond. Second is how we are going to renew the momentum of growth, because we are facing headwinds anyway. And third, O, opportunities. So we need to, I think this Congress is going to identify the opportunities of new development, given the drive for quality development, green drive, and so on and so forth. So we are going to see how this government is going to stage policies and measures that will support, the potential growth of the economy. And W, as represents the word world. So I think the Congress is going to discuss how China is going to relate to the world. Okay, in terms of its own effort to reform its economy, as well as its relationship, its integration with the world, and how China play a positive role in terms of economic recovery and further growth of the developing and emerging economies. T, I think, represents tackle. So how we're going to tackle, the challenges and the risks that, we are bound to face. Okay, this is very important. Of course, we are going to take care of our internal affairs. Okay, we are going to support multilateralism. Okay, and we are going to work with the world towards peace and prosperity. Okay, and the last word is H. H, I think it is going to be the harmonizing all the relationships, meaning that, not just the policies, solutions, or development plans, almost everything, we need to, we expect to see this harmonious relationship being depicted, detailed, during this conference. And of course, eventually all those 6 areas of my personal interest will be probably reflected in the final report that we are going to see.
That certainly is a very interesting way to look at things, and thank you for elaborating on this theory. We are now literally moments away from that press conference, which will happen at 4:30 p.m. local time. We're waiting, of course, for that press conference to happen. But at that press conference, we're likely to hear from the spokesperson who will brief the media on the procedural part of the party congress, the agenda items, what's going to happen, who will appear, who will make an appearance. And then we are likely to hear a Q&A session, of course, between the spokesperson and attending members of the media. Let me just very quickly get your expectations from the party congress this year.
Well, in terms of agenda, it's becoming very clear, and the agenda is going to include the following items, such as the review of the work report, which is to be delivered.
Professor, my apologies. We'll pick up the conversation later on our program. If you're just joining us here on CGTN, these are live pictures coming from the Great Hall of the People, where the spokesperson for the 20th CPC National Congress will be briefing the media from the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. Let's listen in together.
女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家下午好。
Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the press, good afternoon.
中国共产党第20次全国代表大会将于明天开幕。 今天，20大新闻发言人孙业礼先生在这里举行新闻发布会，向各位介绍20大准备工作情况和大会议程。
The 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China will open tomorrow. Today we have invited Mr. Sun Yeli, spokesperson for the 20th National Congress of the CPC, to give you a briefing about the preparations for and agenda of the Congress.
现在，请孙业礼先生介绍有关情况。
Mr. Sun Yeli, the floor is now yours.
女士们、先生们、
Ladies and gentlemen,
同志们、
friends
朋友们
and，comrades,
大家下午好。
good afternoon.
中国共产党第
The 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China, CPC, will open at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
会期
The Congress will last from October 16th to October 22nd.
我作为
I
大
am
会
the
新闻发言
spokesman
人
for the Congress,
对前来
and I would like to
采
extend
访
a
报
warm
道的
welcome to all the Chinese and foreign reporters here to cover the
表示热烈欢
Congress.
迎。受大会
Entrusted by the
委托
Congress, I will now give you a brief on it.
介绍党的20大有关情况。中国共
The
产党
Congress
第
will be a
20
meeting
次
of
全国
great
代表大会
importance, to be held
是在
at a
全
critical
党全
time
国各族人
as the
民
entire party and
迈
the
向
Chinese people of
全
all
面
ethnic
建设
groups
社会主义
are
国
embarking
现
on
代
a
化
new
国家
journey to
新
build
征途
China into a modern socialist country in all
向
respects,
第二个
and to
百年
realize
奋斗目
the
标
second
进
centenary
军的
goal.
关键时刻，召开的一次十分重要
The
的
Congress will hold high the great banner of
大会将
socialism
高
with
举
Chinese
中国
characteristics,
特色社会主义伟大
uphold
旗
Marxism, Leninism, Mao
坚
Zedong
持
thought,
马克思列宁主义
Deng Xiaoping theory,
毛泽
the
东思
theory
想
of three
邓
represents,
小平理
and
论
the scientific outlook
三
on
个代表重要
development,
思想科学发展观
and fully implement
全面贯彻
Xi Jinping thought
习近平
on
70 代
socialism
中
with
国特
Chinese
色社会主义思
characteristics
想
for a new era.
认真总结
It will
过去
comprehensively
5年的
review
工作
the work over the past 5
全
years
面总结
and the great
70代
achievements
以来
made and valuable experience
习近平
accumulated
核心的
over the
统一
period since the start
团
of
结
the
带
new
领
era,
全
as
党
the party
全
central
国各
committee
族人
with
民
Comrade Xi Jinping at
坚
its
持
core
和发展中国
united
特
and
色
led
社会
the
主义
entire party and the whole nation
取得的
in
政
upholding
党
and
成绩
developing socialism
和
with
宝贵经
Chinese
验
characteristics.
深入分析
It will thoroughly
国际国
analyze
内
the
形势
situation both at home and
全面
abroad
把握
and fully
新
grasp
时
the
代
new requirements
新征
for the
程
development of the cause of the
党和国家
party
事业
and the
发展的
country
新要求
and new expectations of the
人民
people,
群众
the
在
new journey in the new era.
制定行动
On
纲
this
领
basis,
和
it will
大
formulate
政方针
programs of action and major policies
从战略
and make
全局
plans
上
and arrangements for the
对
party and
党
the
和国家
country's
事业
cause from an
做出
overall
规划
strategic
和部
perspective.
署。今天下午
The preparatory meeting
召
of the
开了
Congress
党的
was held
20
this
大预备
afternoon,
会议，
during which
确
the
定了
agenda
大会
of
的
the
议程。
Congress was adopted. The main items on the agenda of the Congress are as follows: to hear and examine the report of the 19th Party Central Committee, to examine the work report of the 19th Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, to deliberate on and adopt the revised Constitution of the Communist Party of China, and to elect the 20th Party Central Committee and the 20th Central Commission for Discipline Inspection. At the preparatory meeting, the list of members of the Congress Presidium was approved, and the Congress will proceed under the leadership of the Presidium. A secretariat was set up to handle Congress affairs. Comrade Wang Huning was approved as Secretary General of the Congress. After the preparatory meeting, a meeting of the Credentials Committee was held, and the Presidium met for the first time. At its meeting, the Presidium adopted the working agenda of the Congress and created its standing committee. The preparations for the Congress have been completed. And now I wish to brief you on them. Preparations for the Congress started under the leadership of the Party Central Committee after the resolution on convening the 20th National Congress of the CPC was adopted by the 19th Party Central Committee at its 6th plenary session in November last year. The preparations focused on the following 4 areas. First, drafting the political report to the 20th National Party Congress. Drafting the report is an important part of the preparations for the Congress. The Party Central Committee attached great importance to the work and set up a group for this purpose. The group was by General Secretary Xi Jinping and was comprised of other party and state leaders, heads of relevant departments and localities, as well as experts and scholars. The group worked under the direct leadership of the Political Bureau and its Standing Committee. To draft the report, the Central Committee organized thorough surveys and studies. It entrusted 54 organs of the Central Committee and the government with the task of conducting surveys and research on 26 key topics, and 80 reports were submitted. Relevant central departments also solicited opinions online regarding work on the Congress, receiving more than 8.542 million comments. All this laid a solid foundation for drafting the report to the Congress. On July 26, at a seminar for officials at the provincial and ministerial level, General Secretary Xi Jinping delivered an important speech in which he elaborated on major issues to be covered by the report to the Congress. He emphasized that rationally defining the goals, tasks, and major policies for the cause of the party and the country in the next 5 years or even longer periods to come is crucial to the further development of the party and the country's cause, to the future of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and to the realization of national rejuvenation. He stressed the need to focus the party's central tasks on the new journey in the new era, and to put forward new ideas, strategies, and measures to advance the 5-sphere integrated plan and the 4-pronged comprehensive strategy in a coordinated way. He called upon all of the Chinese people to forge ahead with enterprise and fortitude and work hard together to write a new chapter in building a modern socialist country in all respects. In drafting the report, democracy was fully practiced, and opinions and suggestions from both inside and outside the party were broadly solicited and incorporated. To facilitate the drafting process, the Central Committee issued a circular to solicit opinions from various sectors on the topics to be included in the report. When the text of the draft report took shape, opinions were sought extensively from more than 4,700 people who had discussions on it. They include members of the 19th Party Central Committee and the 19th Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, delegates to the 19th and 20th National Party Congresses, heads of the party committees of all provinces, autonomous regions, and municipalities directly under the central government, leading party officials of the party, government, and military departments at the central level, heads of the party committees of major People's Liberation Army units and the Armed Police Force, as well as leading party officials of the people's organizations. General Secretary Xi Jinping chaired 5 meetings to directly hear opinions and suggestions from various sides. The drafting group also heard opinions of some retired senior party officials. On August 31st, General Secretary Xi Jinping presided over a meeting to solicit opinions from leaders of other political parties and the All-China Federation of Industry and Commerce and prominent figures without party affiliation. Many of the opinions sought from both inside and outside the party were adopted. During the drafting process, the Political Bureau and its Standing Committee both held multiple meetings to deliberate on the draft. On October 12th, the 19th Party Central Committee discussed and approved the text of the report at its 7th plenary session and decided to formally submit it to the 20th National Congress for examination. Second, making revisions to the party constitution. Another important task of the 20th National Party Congress is to revise the party constitution. It has been a common practice for our party to make revisions to its constitution at its National Congress in recognition of the party's latest innovations in theory and the evolution of practice. The current party constitution was revised and adopted at the party's 12th National Congress in 1982. Starting with the party's 13th National Congress, appropriate revisions have been made to the party constitution at successive National Party Congresses. Practice shows that making revisions to the party constitution in response to new developments and tasks helps all party members more earnestly study, observe, apply, and uphold the party constitution, and enables the party constitution to play a better role in guiding and regulating the party's work and party-building efforts. When the Party Central Committee solicited opinions in January this year about the topics to be included in the report to the 20th National Congress, many localities and departments proposed that appropriate revisions be made to the party constitution at the Congress in recognition of the party's latest innovations in theory and the evolution of practice, and in response to the evolving situation and tasks. The Central Committee issued a circular in May this year to solicit opinions on revising the party constitution from all localities and departments. The consulted localities and departments submitted written reports in which they expressed agreement that appropriate revisions to the party constitution should be made at the 20th National Congress. They also made comments and suggestions for revisions in their reports. Some retired senior party officials and ordinary party members also wrote to relevant departments of the Party Central Committee to propose that the party constitution be revised. After taking into account the opinions from all sides, the Political Bureau of the Party Central Committee met to discuss the matter and decided that appropriate revisions should be made to the party constitution, and a party constitution revision panel should be set up to carry out this work. It was stressed that in revising the party constitution, the major theoretical viewpoints and major strategic thinking set down in the report to the 20th National Party Congress be incorporated into the party constitution. It was also stressed that the revised party constitution should fully embody the latest achievements in adapting Marxism to the Chinese context and the needs of our times. The new ideas, new thinking, and new strategies on governance the Party Central Committee has developed since the 19th National Party Congress, and the new experience the party has gained in its work and party building, in order to meet the new demands placed on the party's work and party building by new developments and tasks. Acting in accordance with the requirements of the Central Committee, the Party Constitution Revision Panel conducted an in-depth study of the opinions submitted by all localities and departments and produced a proposal for revisions. The Standing Committee of the Political Bureau and the Political Bureau deliberated over the proposal respectively, after which revisions to the Party Constitution were drafted. On August 4th, the texts of the draft revised Party Constitution and the draft report to the 20th National Party Congress were issued to select party members for consultation. The Party Constitution Revision Panel then made careful revisions based on opinions from all sides, and the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau and the Political Bureau held meetings, one after the other, to review the text of the draft revised Party Constitution. The draft of the revised party constitution, which is a product of the collective wisdom of the entire party, was discussed and approved by the 19th Party Central Committee at its 7th plenary session and will be submitted to the 20th National Party Congress for deliberation. Third, electing delegates to the 20th National Party Congress. Election of delegates to the party's 20th National Congress began in November 2021. The Party Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, has attached great importance to this work. General Secretary Xi Jinping presided over meetings of the Political Bureau and its Standing Committee to study related issues. After deliberation, the circular of the CPC Central Committee concerning the election of delegates to the 20th National Party Congress was adopted, specifying the overall requirements, policies, and rules for the election. During elections, all electoral units acted in accordance with the Central Committee's arrangements and requirements, upheld the party constitution as the fundamental guide, kept in mind the party's nature and purpose, and ensured strong party leadership throughout the whole process of election. They gave full play to the role of democracy within the party, applied rigorous criteria for candidate eligibility, followed due procedures, observed a strict code of discipline, and formulated plans based on local conditions. These efforts have seen the electoral units do a good job in organizing elections. All primary level party organizations in the electoral units took part in the election, with an average participation rate of 99.5% among their party members. The 38 electoral units across the country convened their respective party congresses or conferences of delegates, during which delegates to the 20th National Party Congress were elected. A total of 2,296 delegates have had their credentials confirmed by the Credentials Committee. They will attend the Congress representing more than 4.9 million primary level party organizations and over 96 million party members. These elected delegates meet the criteria set by the Party Central Committee. Their composition is balanced across every category as required by the Central Committee, and hence they are broadly representative. They are from different sectors including economy, science and technology, national defense, politics and law, education, public communication, culture, public health, sports, and social management. They are from different levels of localities ranging from provinces, cities, counties, towns, townships, and subdistricts to villages and communities. And they come from different types of working units, including party and state organs, enterprises, public institutions, and people's organizations. Representation of people from the front line of production and work are ensured, with their delegates making up 33.6% of the total, which includes 8.4% for workers, including migrant workers from rural areas, 3.7% for farmers, and 11.6% for professional and technical personnel. The number of female delegates increases, with their proportion reaching 27%. The share of ethnic minority delegates remains stable, standing at 11.5%. The composition of the delegates is also balanced in terms of age brackets. Delegates under the age of 55 account for 59.7% of the total, and those under 45 make up 18.9% of the total. The delegates are generally well educated. Those who have received junior college education or higher take up 95.4%, among whom 36% have a bachelor's degree, and 52.7% have a master's or doctor's degree. Some delegates joined the party during the New Democratic Revolution period, some in the period of Socialist Revolution and Construction, some in the new period of reform, opening up, and socialist modernization, and others after the party's 18th National Congress. Those who joined the party after the launch of reform and opening up account for 96.9% of the total. As an established practice, the Party Central Committee has decided that some veteran party members who have left leading positions will attend the Congress as special delegates. Fourth, making preparations for electing a new Central Committee and a new Central Commission for Discipline Inspection. As required by the party constitution, a new Central Committee and a new Central Commission for Discipline Inspection will be elected at this Congress. To facilitate these elections, the Party Central Committee set up a special working group with General Secretary Xi Jinping as head of its leading team. Under the leadership of the Standing Committee of the Party Central Committee Political Bureau, the group had charge of the recommendation, evaluation, and nomination of candidates for the new Central Committee and the new Central Commission for Discipline Inspection. On the basis of the work of the group, the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau and the Political Bureau convened meetings respectively for discussion and prepared a proposed list of preliminary candidates for the new Central Committee and the new Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, which will be submitted to the Presidium of the 20th National Party Congress for deliberation. Upon conclusion of the Congress, the 20th Party Central Committee will hold its first plenary session, and the 20th Central Commission for Discipline Inspection will hold its first full assembly to elect their respective new leading bodies. After the plenary session of the 20th Party Central Committee, members of the new Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the Central Committee will meet Chinese and foreign reporters. The 20th National Party Congress has opened a press center, which will organize press conferences and group interviews, and make full use of the Internet and other technologies to provide services for reporters and facilitate their reporting on the Congress. Now, I will be happy to take questions from you regarding the 20th National Party Congress. Thank you.
现在开始提问。提问请先通报本人所在的新闻机构。
The floor is now open for questions. Please identify your media affiliation before asking the question.
请东区前排左起第2位记者提问。
谢谢主持人。中央广播电视总台记者提问：在去年庆祝中国共产党成立100周年的大会上，习近平总书记是向全世界庄严宣告，在中华大地上全面建成小康社会。那么，我们想请问，建成的小康社会是否实现了预期目标？小康的成色如何？另外，党的19大是提出要分2个阶段，到本世纪中叶全面建成社会主义现代化强国。围绕着这样的一个目标，20大将会做出哪些新的部署？谢谢。
CCTV. Last year, at the assembly celebrating the party's centenary, General Secretary Xi Jinping stated that China has completed the building of a moderately prosperous society in all respects. Has this society met the objectives set for it? What about its quality? The 19th Party Congress set out the 2 stages toward a modern socialist country. What steps will be decided on at the 20th National Congress toward this goal?
建设一个小康社会是我们党在改革开放之初就提出来的战略目标。最初的设想，小康也就是不穷不富，日子好过一点，人均国民生产总值达到800至1000美元，也就算小康了。
To build a moderately prosperous society was a strategic goal that the party set at the beginning of reform and opening up. Initially, it meant a more comfortable living for our people, neither rich nor poor, with a per capita GNP ranging from $800 to $1,000.
随着改革开放的推进，我国的发展加快，小康的内涵也越来越丰富。我们党对实现小康社会的目标，不断提出新的要求。党的18大明确提出，到建党100年时，全面建成小康社会，并对我们要建成的小康社会做出了新的描绘，提出了新的要求。
With reform and opening up, and as China grows, the concept has been further enriched, and the party has raised new requirements about it. The 18th Party Congress made it clear that a moderately prosperous society should be accomplished at the party's centenary, and further outlined how it should look like.
经过一代又一代人的接续努力，特别是党的18大以来，以习近平同志为核心的党中央带领全党全国各族人民攻坚克难，决战决胜，我们终于实现了这一夙愿。
Thanks to the relentless efforts by one generation after another, particularly the vigorous efforts by the whole party and the entire country, under the leadership of the Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, we have overcome the many difficulties along the way and finally realized this aspiration.
现在看，我们已经建成的小康社会，远远超出了改革开放之初的预想，达到了18大提出的目标要求。这个小康社会的成色应该说是十足的。
The moderately prosperous society we have built exceeds what we anticipated 40 plus years ago. It delivers the objectives set at the 18th Party Congress and features high quality.
比如到2020年，我国国内生产总值达到101.6万亿元，稳居世界第2大经济体，人均国内生产总值超过1万美元。我国进入中等收入的人口超过4亿人，形成了全球规模最大、最具成长性的中等收入群体。城乡居民的恩格尔系数分别下降到29.2%和32.7%，人民生活品质明显提升。
By 2020, for example, our GDP has reached 101.6 trillion RMB yuan, keeping us well as the world's second largest economy. Our per capita GDP has surpassed $10,000, and over 400 million Chinese have entered the middle-income group. That is the world's biggest middle-income group with great potential to grow. Angle coefficient for urban and rural residents have dropped to 29.2% and 32.7%, respectively. The Chinese people are living a better life.
小康不小康，不只是看经济总量，不只是看平均数，不只是看中等收入人口的生活状况，更为重要的和更为关键的，还是要看贫困人口生活改善的状况。
The moderately prosperous society is not just about economic aggregate, not just about average numbers or middle income level. Importantly, it is about how life has improved for the poor people.
党的18大以来，我们党把脱贫攻坚作为全面建成小康社会的底线任务，在过去长期扶贫工作的基础上，对剩余的贫争贫、困争之困的贫困问题发起攻坚，并取得了全面胜利。
Since its 18th National Congress, the party has made poverty reduction a fundamental part in building a moderately prosperous society. On top of the poverty reduction work in previous years, we have launched the battle against the most entrenched poverty and achieved full success.
到2020年底，9899万贫困人口全部脱贫，832个贫困县全部摘帽，12.8万个贫困村全部出列。这在中国历史上是从来没有过的，在人类减贫史上也是一大奇迹。
By the end of 2020, all of the 98.99 million poor rural residents have been lifted out of poverty. For 832 poor counties and 128,000 poor villages, poverty has become a thing of the past. This has never been achieved in our history. It is a miracle in human history as well.
还应当看到，我们的小康是全面的小康。我国的全过程人民民主不断发展，人民的精神文化生活更加丰富， 基本公共服务均能化的水平大幅提升，生态文明建设取得突破性进展，这些都是实实在在的成就，经得起检验。
In addition, this moderately prosperous society is one in all respects. The whole process, people's democracy, is growing from strength to strength. People's cultural life has been enriched, and their access to basic public services is much more equal. Breakthroughs have been made in ecological protection, and the accomplishments are concrete and real and can withstand a closer look.
全面建成小康社会，党和国家事业取得历史性成就，发生历史性变革，站在了新的起点上。我们的下一个目标就是全面建成社会主义现代化强国。
Now, with a moderately prosperous society built in all respects, the cause of the party and the country has reached a new historical starting point. Our next goal is a modern socialist country in all respects.
党的20大将在19大的基础上，对全面建成社会主义现代化强国2步走战略安排做出宏观展望，重点未来5年的战略任务和重大举措。面向未来，我们有信心、有底气、有能力实现新的奋斗目标，创造新的更大的奇迹。谢谢。
The 20th National Congress, based on the 19th one, will envision the 2 stages toward a modern socialist country and set out the strategic tasks and major steps in the coming 5 years. We have the confidence, the resolve, and capability to meet the new goals and create greater miracles on the way forward. Thank you.
请继续提问。西区第3排右起第2位记者。
Thank you. A question from Bloomberg again on the economy. The rate of economic growth in China has slowed steadily throughout the last decade. Will China target a return to high growth rates in the next 5 years? And if so, how? Or has the era of rapid economic growth in China come to an end? Thank you.
彭博新闻社，过去10年，中国经济增长速度逐渐放缓。今后5年，中国还会把回到高速增长作为目标吗？如果是，如何实现？中国经济的快速增长已经结束了吗？
大家都很关心这个中国经济发展的问题。这位记者提出的问题，也可能是很多记者都想问的。
The performance of the Chinese economy is followed by many. I guess the same question could be on the mind of many other journalists.
我先跟大家分享一组数据。据统计，2013年到2021年，我国国内生产总值年均增长6.6%，高于同期世界2.6%和发展中经济体3.7%的平均增长水平，对世界经济增长的平均贡献率超过了30%。
Let me first share with you some figures. From 2013 to 2021, China's GDP had grown by 6.6% annually, higher than the global average of 2.6% and the 3.7% growth rate of other developing economies during the same period. We contributed on average over 30% to global growth.
作为世界第2大经济体，在拥有这样大的体量之后，在转向高质量发展的进程中，还能保持这样的，应该说是很难得的。
Given the size of the Chinese economy being the world's 2nd largest, it is no easy task to maintain such a speed of growth as it shifts to high-quality development.
增长速度是衡量经济发展的重要指标，但不是唯一指标。党的18大以后，将要做出我国经济发展进入新常态的重大判断，明确提出我国经济已经由高速增长阶段转向高质量发展阶段。我们不简单以生产总值增长率论英性，而是着眼从根本上解决经济发展的长远问题。
The speed of growth is indeed an important yardstick of economic performance, but not the only one. Following the 18th Party Congress, the Central Committee made the judgment that the Chinese economy has entered a new normal, moving from high-speed growth to high-quality development. Growth rate is no longer the only thing that matters. Instead, we focus more on fundamentally resolving the longer-term issues in the economy.
这10年，我国经济发展的平衡性、协调性、可持续性明显增强，国家经济实力、科技实力、综合国力要上了一个新的大的台阶，经济发展迈向更高质量、更有效率、更加公平、更可持续、更为安全的发展之路。
The past decade has seen China's economic development getting more balanced, coordinated, and sustainable. The country has scaled new heights in terms of economic, scientific, and comprehensive national strength. The economy is moving toward higher quality and efficiency, more equality, and greater sustainability and security.
同时应该看到受新冠肺炎疫情和国际环境等因素的影响，中国经济面临较大的下行压力。那么面对这种情况，我们采取一系列有力有效的措施，稳住了经济大盘，巩固了企稳向好的趋势。相比而言，中国经济发展在主要经济体中仍处于较好的水平。中国的经济仍是世界经济增长重要的稳定器和动力源。
Needless to say, the COVID pandemic and the international environment have caused downward pressure to our economy. With effective and robust response measures, we have stabilized overall economic performance and kept it on a positive trajectory. On the whole, the Chinese economy is doing well among the major economies, making us still an important anchor of stability and driving force for global growth.
综合判断，中国发展仍具有诸多有利条件。中国经济韧性强，潜力大，活力足，长期向好的基本面没有改变。
All things considered, China's development still has many favorable conditions. The economy has strong resilience, big potential, and good momentum. The fundamentals for its long-term positive growth remain unchanged.
那么下一阶段， 我们将按照党的20大确定的行政纲领和大政方针，完整、准确、全面贯彻新发展理念，加快构建发展格局，着力推动高质量发展，更好地统筹发展与安全。我们将继续深化供给侧结构性改革，着力扩大有效需求，切实保障粮食能源安全和产业链供应链稳定，持续加大稳就业政策实施力度，扎实做好民生保障工作，保持经济运行在合理区间。谢谢。
Going forward, we will act on the action plans and policies set forth at the 20th National Congress, fully, faithfully, and comprehensively practice the new development philosophy, build up the new development paradigm, promote high-quality development, and better coordinate development and security. We will continue to deepen supply-side structural reform, boost effective demand, ensure food and energy security and the stability of industrial and supply chains. We will step up to keep employment stable, secure people's livelihoods, and keep our economy within an appropriate range. Thank you.
请中区第4排起第1位记者提问。
谢谢。人民日报社记者提问：全面深化改革是新时代的鲜明特征。18届3中全会对全面深化改革做出了总部署、总动员。请问目前各项改革任务进展如何？还有哪些难啃的硬骨头？下一步全面深化改革还需要在哪些方面发力？谢谢。
People's Daily, deepening reform on all fronts has been a hallmark of the new era. The third plenary of the 18th Central Committee has made the overall plan on deepening reform. How well has this been delivered? Any tough challenges remained? What areas require stronger reform efforts?
的确，全面深化改革是新时代的鲜明特征。我们都记得，党的18大后不久，总书记首次离京外出，就选择赴广东考察，鲜明宣示改革不停顿，开放不止步。
Indeed, deepening reform on all fronts has been a defining feature of the new era. General Secretary Xi Jinping, in his first trip outside Beijing after the 18th Party Congress, went to Guangdong Province to inspect the reform progress there. He made clear that China will not stop its pace in reform and opening up.
2013年，我们党召开具有划时代意义的18届3中全会，对经济、政治、文化、社会、生态文明体制改革、国防和军队改革、党的建设制度改革等作出全面部署，实现了改革由局部探索、破冰突围到系统集成、全面深化的转变。
In 2013, the party convened the epoch-making third plenary of the 18th Central Committee. Overall plans laid out on reform in economic, political, cultural, social, and ecological areas, as well as on national defense, the military, and the party building. The reform has since moved from trials and breakthroughs in limited areas toward an integrated endeavor promoted across the board.
那么10年来，我们更推出2000多个改革方案，涉及经济社会各领域，涵盖了衣食住行、教育、医疗、养老等各个方面。 18届3中全会部署的改革任务整体完成，19大以后部署的改革任务接续推进。
The past decade has seen over 2,000 reform programs introduced on multiple fronts of social and economic development, covering people's basic living, education, health, and the elderly care. The reform tasks have been fulfilled according to plan, followed by new ones set forth at the 19th National Congress.
改革在一些重点领域关键环节取得突破性进展，比如党和国家机构改革、国防和军队改革、党的建设制度改革等，这些都是系统性、成熟性的。比如国企改革，保护各类所有制经济产权的改革，司法体制的改革，基本公共文化服务体系的改革，户籍制度的改革等等，这些都是我们有切身感受，老百姓有实实在在获得感的。再比如生态文明体制改革，力度前所未有，推动美丽中国建设迈出重大步伐。
Breakthroughs have been made in key areas. Systemic and transformational reform has been made as to the party and state institutions, national defense, the armed forces, and the party building. Reforms of state-owned enterprises, reform to protect all types of economic ownerships, judicial reform, public cultural service reform, and household registration reform have all delivered tangible outcomes. We launched unprecedented reform in the system for developing an ecological civilization, enabling major steps forward in building a beautiful China.
经过新时代的改革，各领域基础性制度框架基本确立，中国特色社会主义制度更加成熟、更加定型，国家治理体系和治理能力现代化水平不断提高，党和国家事业焕发出新的生机活力。
Through the reform efforts in the new era, basic institutional frameworks have been set up in all areas. The socialist system with Chinese characteristics is more mature and further developed. The country's governance system and capability is further modernized. The cause of the party and the country has taken on new vigor and vitality.
改革只有进行时，没有完成时。我们也深刻认识到，改革还有不少难啃的硬骨头，特别是在推动科技高水平自立自强、建设高标准市场体系、保障粮食、能源、资源安全、防范化解风险、促进经济社会发展绿色转型等等方面，还有很多深层次的矛盾和问题。
Reform is an ongoing process. We are solely aware of the many remaining tough issues. We need to enhance self-reliance on high technologies, build a market system of high standard, ensure food, energy, and resource security, diffuse risks, and to move toward greener development of the economy and society.
我们将坚持改革的正确方向，保持改革的定力，以更大的政治勇气和智慧，不断把改革推向前进。谢谢。
We will keep to the course, stay resolute, and advance reform with greater political courage and wisdom. Thank you.
下一个问题，请西区前排从右起第3位记者提问。
Thank you. Question from CNE. It's been almost 3 years since the COVID-19 pandemic began, and the World Health Organization has said that the end is in sight. China, on its part, has maintained that it will hold unswervingly to its dynamic zero-COVID policy, even as other countries around the world have chosen to open up. Is there concern that China will become isolated, especially as the country faces challenges in its economy? What factors would be seen as favorable for China to relax some of its COVID measures and to open up further? Thank you.
新加坡亚洲新闻台，新冠疫情发生已有近3年的时间，世卫组织指出，新冠病毒大流行结束在望。目前，世界其他国家已经选择开放，而中国仍坚定不移贯彻动态清零方针。中国是否担心在经济面临挑战时会被孤立？哪些因素有利于中国放宽部分措施并进一步开放？
这场世纪疫情给世界各国经济社会发展和人民生活都造成了很大的冲击。我们大家都希望疫情能够早日结束，但是我们现在看到的是疫情仍然存在，这是我们必须面对的现实。
The COVID pandemic has dealt a heavy blow to the economies and people's lives across the globe. We all long for its early end. As things stand, however, it is still lingering. That is the reality.
疫情发生以来，中国始终坚持人民至上、生命至上，把人民生命安全和身体健康放在第一位，这是我们一切防疫策略和举措的根本出发点和落脚点。
Since the onset of the pandemic, China has put people and people's lives front and center. We gave top priority to people's health and safety. This is the part and parcel of our COVID response efforts.
动态清零是立足中国国情，遵循科学规律制定的防疫方针，核心是快速反应、精准防控，力求以最低社会成本，在最短时间内控制住疫情，最大限度保护人民生命安全和身体健康，最大限度减少对经济社会发展和人民群众日常正常生活的影响。
Dynamic zero COVID policy is in light of China's national realities. It is a science-based approach. The essence is rapid response, targeted measures to bring the COVID situation under control with minimum costs for the society and in shortest possible time, while protecting people's life and health and minimizing the impact on the economy and people's normal life to the best of our ability.
我国是人口大国，老龄人口多，地区发展不平衡，医疗资源总量相对不足。正是因为坚持了动态清零，我们才保持了极低的感染率和病亡率。正是因为坚持动态清零，坚持疫情要防住，经济要稳住，发展要安全，我们才保持了经济社会持续稳定运行。如果算总账，我们的防控措施是最经济的，是最好的， 效果是最好的，也是最有效的。
China has a big population, including a huge elderly population. Development is uneven among regions, and medical resources are insufficient on the whole. The dynamic zero-COVID policy has enabled us to keep infection and case fatality rates at a very low level. Keeping to this approach, and with robust efforts to curb the virus, stabilize the economy and secure development, we have realized sustained and stable economic development. All things considered, China's COVID response measures are most cost-effective and have worked the best for our country.
按照动态清零的总方针，我们不断完善疫情防控的具体的举措。那么，随着疫情形势的变化和对病毒认识的深化，我们已经先后公布了9版疫情防控的方案。那么，我们防控的策略和措施会越来越科学，越来越精准，越来越有效。我们统筹疫情防控和经济社会发展的水平会越来越高。
Under the dynamic zero-COVID policy, we have been constantly improving our response measures. As the COVID situation evolves and as we get to know more about this virus, we have published 9 editions of containment plans. Our COVID response measures will be more scientific, with greater precision, and more effective, with still better coordination between pandemic response and socio-economic development.
我们坚信，曙光就在前头，坚持就是胜利。谢谢。
Looking ahead, we can see light and hope. With perseverance, we will triumph over the pandemic. Thank you.
下一个问题，东区第4排左起第1位记者。
Good afternoon, Yolandi Martinez from Prensa Latina, Cuba. I have 2 questions. First one is, how does the CPC assess its interaction with other communist parties in the world along these years? And the second one is, which are the plans to better improve those relations in the future? Thank you.
古巴拉美通讯社，我的问题有关全球政党关系，中国共产党如何评价近年来与其他国家共产党的互动？未来有哪些计划发展这些关系？
朋友是越多越好。长期以来，中国共产党在独立自主、完全平等、互相尊重、互不干涉内部事务原则基础上，同各国友好政党和政治力量广泛交往，我们的国际朋友圈越来越大。
The more friends we have, the better. Over the years, in the spirit of independence, full equality, mutual respect, and non-interference, the CPC has engaged in extensive interactions with friendly political parties and organizations of all countries, gaining more and more friends all over the world.
比如说，近年来我们举办世界政党领导人峰会、高层对话会，有160多个国家、500多位政党和政治组织领导人，以及超过1万名的代表出席会议。那么，截至目前，中国共产党同世界上170多个国家、600多个政党和政治组织保持着不同形式的联系。那么，政党关系的发展带动和促进了国家关系的发展，也增进了人民之间的了解和友谊。
For example, In recent years, we held the CPC and World Political Parties Summit and its high-level meeting, participated by over 500 leaders of political parties and organizations, as well as over 10,000 delegates from 160 countries. By far, the CPC has contact with over 600 political parties and organizations from more than 170 countries. These party-to-party relations have contributed to our relations with the relevant countries and brought our peoples closer to each other.
这位记者朋友来自古巴，我有的是这个中国共产党始终重视同世界上其他国家的马克思主义政党的交往，通过理论交流和政策对话等，共同探索适合各自国情的社会主义建设的道路，共同探讨和探索马克思主义本土化、时代化的实现路径。
You are from Cuba. Well, the CPC has all along attached importance to interactions with Marxist parties in other countries. Through exchanges on theory and policy dialogue, we have explored together socialist development path in light of our respective national conditions and the way to adapt Marxism to national context and the need of our times.
需要强调的是中国共产党对外交往不以意识形态划线，各国各类政党无论其秉持何种意识形态，只要对华友好并愿意与我们党开展往来，中国共产党都愿意和他们交流。谢谢。
One point I want to stress here is that the CPC does not draw ideological lines in its external relations. Political parties, regardless of their nationality and ideological background, are welcome to make friends with us. Thank you.
请继续提问。中区第5排右起第2位先生提问。
谢谢主持人。发言人您好，我是中国日报记者。党中央提出构建以国内大循环为主体、国内国际双循环相互促进的新发展格局，国内外对此高度重视。国外有一些舆论担心，这会不会变成只关注内部循环，导致中国对外开放的程度越来越小？请问您对此有何评论？在扩大对外开放方面有哪些考虑？谢谢。
China Daily. Central Committee has decided to build a new development paradigm of dual circulations, which has drawn attention from home and abroad. Some in other countries worry if this means exclusive focus on domestic circulation and may scale back China's opening up. What is your view, and what has been done to expand opening up?
首先我想说这种担心是不必要的。
Well, first of all, such worry is unnecessary.
构建以国内大循环为主体、国际国内双循环相互促进的新发展格局，那么是根据我国发展的阶段、环境、条件变化，特别是基于我国比较优势的变化，审时度势做出的一项重大决策，将为实现中国经济长远发展，为促进世界经济稳定复苏注入持久动力。
The new development paradigm has domestic circulation as the mainstay and domestic and international circulations reinforcing each other. This is a momentous decision based on the changes in China's development stage, environment, and conditions, and in light of changes in our comparative advantage. It will generate lasting momentum for the Chinese economy in the long run and for global economic stability and recovery as well.
那么，构建新发展格局是开放的国际国内双循环，不是封闭的国内单循环。以国内大循环为主体，绝不是关起门来封闭运行，而是通过发挥内需潜力，使国内市场和国际市场更好连通。可以说，实现高水平对外开放，是构建新发展格局的应有之义。
This new development paradigm features open circulations rather than a closed domestic circulation. Taking domestic circulation as the mainstay doesn't mean closed-door development. Instead, by unlocking the potential of domestic demand, we could better link up domestic and international markets. And in this context, opening up at higher standards is an inherent part of the new development paradigm.
实际上，这几年我国的对外开放的步伐也在不断加快。比如，我们提出“一带一路”倡议，并积极加以推进。我们签署实施 RCEP， 也就是区域全面经济伙伴关系协定，同时正在推进多个多边贸易协定。我们成功举办了4届中国国际进口博览会，主动向世界开放市场。
The thing is, the recent years have seen China quickening its pace in opening up. We proposed and advanced the Belt and Road Initiative. We have signed the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership and are seeking membership in multiple multilateral trade agreements. We have hosted the 4th successful China International Import Expo in an effort to open China's market to the world.
比如，我国先后设立了21个自由贸易试验区，全国和自由贸易试验区外商投资准入负面清单限制措施，分别大幅缩减到3项、27项。自由贸易试验区实现制造业条目清零，取消金融业外资持股比例的限制。那么外商投资领域不断拓宽，这些都充分表明中国绝不会自我封闭，开放的大门只会越开越大。
We have set up 21 pilot free trade zones, one after another. The negative lists on access for foreign investment in and out of these pilot zones have been shortened, respectively, to 27 and 31 restricted items. In the pilot zones, we have removed all restricted items for foreign investment in manufacture. Foreign equity caps have been lifted for financial services. These epitomize the growing access for foreign investment and demonstrate that China will not close its door, but will open it still wider.
对外开放是中国的基本国策，不论世界如何变化，中国开放的决心和意志不会动摇。我们将坚定不移实施更大范围、更宽领域、更深层次的对外开放。谢谢。
Opening up is China's basic state policy. No matter how the world may change, China's resolve and will to open up are unwavering. We will pursue opening up in larger scale and scope and at greater depth. Thank you.
请继续提问。请西区第5排右起第1位记者提问。
谢谢主持人。新华社记者提问：党的18大以来，党中央强力推进反腐败斗争，在党内党外、国内国际受到广泛关注。请问您对反腐败的成效和形势有何评价？下一步会有什么新的举措？谢谢。
Xinhua News Agency. Since the 18th Party Congress, the Central Committee has made strong efforts to fight corruption. How successful are these efforts? What new steps will be taken?
腐败与我们党的性质和宗旨水火不容，人民群众对腐败现象深恶痛绝。
Corruption runs completely counter to the nature and purpose of the party and causes deep resentment among our people.
党的18大以来，在以习近平同志为核心的党中央坚强领导下，我们党敢于刀刃向内，敢于刮骨疗毒，敢于壮士断腕，反腐败斗争力度前所未有，成效有目共睹，形成了一体推进、不敢腐、不能腐、不想腐的方针方略，成功走出一条依靠制度优势、法治优势反腐败之路。
Since the 18th Party Congress, under the strong leadership of the Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, the party has taken painful measures for the sake of bigger picture, fighting corruption with an unprecedented intensity. The results have been remarkable. Officials are left with no opportunity and no desire or audacity to engage in corruption. We have blazed a trail of anti-corruption underpinned by laws and institutions.
不敢腐的震慑充分彰显，党中央坚持无禁区、零容忍、全覆盖，坚持重遏制、强高压、长震慑，坚持行贿受贿一起查，坚持有案必查、有腐必惩，始终保持惩治高压。党的18大以来，到今年6月，全国纪检监察机关共立案审查调查451.6万件，处分443.9万人。
Deterrence against corruption is fully felt. In combating corruption, there is no exception but full coverage and zero tolerance. Tight restrictions, firm stance, and long-term deterrence are adopted. Those who take bribes and those who offer them are both held accountable. Every case is investigated and perpetrators of corruption are punished. A tough line on corruption has been maintained. From the 18th Party Congress to this June, disciplinary and supervisory agencies across the country have investigated 4.516 million cases and brought to justice 4.439 million offenders.
不能腐的棱子是越扎越紧，越扎越牢。制定修订新形势下党内政治生活约杆准则、廉洁自律准则、党内监督条例、2次修订纪律处分条例、巡视工作条例，颁布实施监察法、公职人员政务处分法，修改刑法、刑事诉讼法，形成了一整套比较完善的党内法规体系和反腐败法律体系。
Institutions against corruption have been built up. We have formulated or revised the Code of Conduct for Intra-Party Political Life in the New Era, regulations of integrity and self-discipline, as well as regulations of intra-party oversight. We have twice amended regulations of disciplinary punishment and those on disciplinary inspection, the supervision law, and the law on administrative discipline for public officials have been promulgated, and criminal law and criminal procedure law revised. A well-developed set of intra-party regulations and anti-corruptions are in place.
不降服的自觉显著增强，坚持不懈应马克思主义中国化、时代化最新成果武装全党，推动形成全方位党性教育的链条，应理想信念强其固本，用优秀传统文化正心明德，着力做实廉洁教育，推动党员干部锤炼党性，筑牢拒腐防变的防线。
Officials have become more disinclined to engage in corruption. We have equipped the whole party with the latest development in adapting Marxism to the Chinese context and the needs of our times. We have forged a whole process of all-round education on party consciousness, strengthening party members' convictions. We draw on the valued traditions of integrity and honesty to encourage party members to enhance their party spirit and build a strong line of defense against corruption and moral decline.
反腐败斗争关系民心这个最大的政治，是一场输不起也决输的重大政治斗争。
Combating corruption bears on winning people's support, which is our biggest political imperative. This is a major political battle that the party cannot and must not lose.
反腐败斗争已经取得压倒性胜利并全面巩固，但形势依然严峻复杂。下一步，我们将按照党中央决策部署，保持永远在路上的清醒和坚定，准确把握腐败阶段性特征和变化趋势，聚焦重点领域和关键环节，坚定不移打虎、排蝇、猎狐，坚决打赢反腐败斗争攻坚战、持久战。谢谢。
An overwhelming victory over corruption has been accomplished, but the situation remains complex and challenging. Going forward, we will follow the decisions of the Central Committee, be soberly aware of this ongoing process, grasp the evolving trends and features of corruption, focus on key areas, and continue to take out tigers, swat flies, and hunt down foxes. With full resolve, we will win this critical and ongoing battle against corruption. Thank you.
请继续提问。中区前排这位女士提问。
谢谢主持人。发言人您好，南华早报提问。有观点认为，中国对资本无序扩张的限制，特别是对互联网平台企业的监管，可能不断冲击外资和民营企业的信心。请问中央对此有何回应？党的20大之后会有什么样的政策以及措施来缓解外资与民营企业的担忧？谢谢您。
South China Morning Post. Some are saying that China's restrictions on unregulated expansion of capital, especially supervision on internet platforms, could dampen the confidence of foreign investors and private companies. What is your response? What policies and measures will be taken at the 20th National Congress to ease such concerns?
我想先说明一点啊，就是不能把限制资本无序扩张同促进非公经济健康发展对立起来看。
To begin with, one should not see curbing the regulated capital expansion as conflicting with facilitating sound development of the non-public sector.
资本是社会主义市场经济的重要生产要素。改革开放40多年来，资本同土地、劳动力、技术、数据等生产要素共同为发展和繁荣社会主义市场经济做出了贡献。
Capital is an important production factor in the socialist market economy. Over the past 40 plus years of reform and opening up, capital, like land, labor, technologies, and data, has contributed to the prosperity and development of the socialist market economy.
我们党在充分肯定资本在发展社会主义市场经济中的积极作用的同时提出要正确认识和把握资本的特性和行为规律，防止资本无序扩张，为资本设置好红绿灯。我理解，设置红绿灯不是不要资本，而要更好地维护市场经济秩序，使资本在法律法规制度框架下健康发展。这样做不仅不会影响民营经济的发展，而且有利于民营经济发展。
The party fully recognizes the positive role that capital has played, but has stressed the importance of correctly understand and grasp the character and ways of movement of capital and prevent its unregulated expansion. That is why we have adopted a traffic light approach. It doesn't mean capital is to be rejected, but it aims at a sound order of the market economy and healthy development of capital under the legal framework. And this, we believe, will not hinder the growth of private economy, but is actually conducive to its growth.
民营经济始终是坚持和发展中国特色社会主义的重要经济基础。民营经济人士始终是我们党长期执政必须团结和依靠的重要力量。
The non-public sector is an important part of the economic basis for upholding and developing socialism with Chinese characteristics. Entrepreneurs are an important force that the party must rally and rely on in its long-term governance.
毫不动摇巩固和发展公有制经济，毫不动摇的鼓励、支持、引导非公有制经济发展，这两个毫不动摇已经作为党和国家大政方针写入新时代坚持和发展中国特色社会主义的基本方略。那么这个方针政策现在没有变，将来也不会改变。
While unswervingly consolidate and develop the public sector, we also unswervingly encourage, support, and guide the development of the non-public sector. This has become a principal policy of the party and the country. It has been written into the basic strategies in upholding and developing socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era. This policy has not changed and will not change.
中国是法治国家，无论是国有资本还是民营资本，无论是内资还是外资，都受法律保护。
China is a law-based country. State-owned and private capital, domestic and foreign investment are all protected by law.
我们将充分借鉴世界各国的有益做法，统筹好 强监管和促发展的关系，不断完善市场化、法治化、国际化营商环境。
We will draw on the good practices in other parts of the world, enhance regulation while boosting development, and continue to build a market-oriented and law-based business environment up to international standard.
中国始终都会是投资的热土，请大家放心。谢谢。
I assure you that China will continue to be a popular destination for investment. Thank you.
下一个问题，请东区第2排左起第3位记者提问。
谢谢主持人。你好，发言人，我是日本共同社的记者。这次的20大呢，将会确定党和国家的大政方针。那么我想问一下，我们经常听到一个概念，就是修昔底德的陷阱，指的则是历史上当新兴强国威胁到现有强国的国际霸主地位的时候，会产生不可避免的冲突的倾向。那么现在中美两国之间的矛盾已经十分激烈。那么从现在起到2035年或者到2049年左右，中方将会如何回避这种冲突即将带来的风险？或者说，面对阻击者，中国是否有迎战的决心？谢谢。
Kyodo News. This 20th National Congress of the party will set out major policies and principles of the party and the country. We often hear the concept of Thucydides' trap, which says that historically, when an established power feels its dominance being challenged by an emerging power, then conflict is hardly avoidable. Given the strained China-US relationship, from the present to 2035 or 2049, how will China avert the risk of conflict? In other words, is China prepared if it faces a powerful hindrance on its way forward?
中美关系攸关世界前途命运，大家都很关注。能否或者如何处理好彼此的关系，是两国必须回答好的世纪之问。
The China-US relationship bears on the future of the world. Whether the two countries can properly handle this relationship is a momentous question that both need to answer.
如果说过去50年，国际关系中一个最重要的事件，就是中美关系的恢复和发展，造福了两国和世界。那么未来50年，国际关系中最重要的事情，就是中美必须找到正确的相处之道。
If the most important event in international relations over the past 50 years was the reopening and development of China-US relations, which has benefited the two countries and the whole world, then the most important event in the international relations in the coming 50 years will be for China and the United States to find the right way to get along.
那么这其中的关键，就是习近平总书记提出的相互尊重、和平共处、合作共赢。我们相信，中美两国人民有智慧、有机会、有能力找到这样的相处之道。
For the two countries to get along with each other, mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation, as pointed out by General Secretary Xi Jinping, are critically important. We believe that the Chinese and American peoples have the wisdom, the opportunity, and capability to find such a way of getting along.
我们一直认为，中美共同利益远大于分歧。一个健康稳定的中美关系，符合两国人民的共同利益。
We take the view that China and the United States have more common interests than differences. A sound and stable bilateral relationship serves the common interests of the two peoples.
事实上，中美利益也已经深度交融。单从经贸关系看，2021年，中美的贸易额呀，达到了创纪录的7500多亿美元，同比增长了28.7%。美经贸合作支撑了260多万个美国就业岗位。
The fact is, China and the United States already have deeply intertwined interests. Take economy, for example. 2021 saw two-way trade reaching a record high of over $750 billion, up by 28.7% year-on-year. Trade with China has supported over 2.6 million American jobs.
更应该看到，当今世界有许多挑战，需要两国合作应对。国际社会普遍期待中美两国发挥引领作用，承担大国责任，稳定双边关系，推动合作。
Moreover, the world faces so many challenges that call for cooperation between China and the United States. The international community looks to China and the United States to step up and shoulder the responsibilities as major countries, keep bilateral relationships stable, and push forward global cooperation.
和平、和睦、和谐是中华民族5000年来一直追求的和传承的理念。这个中国谋求发展，是为了本国人民过上更加美好的生活，而不是要挑战别人。我们从来不相信所谓修昔底德陷阱，反对国强必拔的逻辑和零和博弈的思维。
Peace, amity, and harmony. These are what the Chinese people have cherished and pursued for 5 millennia. China's pursuit of development is to make life better for its people, not to challenge anyone else. We don't believe in the so-called Thucydides trap or the narrative that a strong country is bound to seek hegemony. We reject zero-sum mentality.
我们不惹事，但也不怕事；我们不欺负别人，但也不允许别人欺负我们。
We don't provoke, nor will we flinch from facing up to trouble. We don't bully others, nor do we allow others to bully us.
大势不可逆，中华民族伟大复兴的历史进程，任何人、任何势力都不可能阻挡。
Overriding trends are irreversible. No one and no force can hold back the historic process of China's national rejuvenation.
谢谢。
Thank you.
请继续提问。请西区第4排右起第2位记者提问。
发言人好，台湾联合报记者提问：大陆日前发布的台湾问题白皮书中，在尽最大努力争取和平统一的相关表述里，加上了 非和平方式将是不得已情况下做出最后选择的这句话，请问这是否代表大陆对台推进统一的方式或选项有改变？大陆方面如何看待、评估所谓的非和平方式统一？谢谢。
Taiwan United Daily News. In recently released white paper, in addition to the paragraphs about making the utmost efforts for peaceful reunification, we also find a line that reads, I quote, "Use of force would be last resort, taken under compelling circumstance," unquote. Does this indicate any change to the means and options of the mainland to pursue reunification? How does the mainland perceive and assess this so-called option of use of force?
和平统一、一国两制是我们解决台湾问题的基本方针。近日发布的《台湾问题与新时代祖国统一事业》白皮重申了这一方针。
Peaceful reunification and one country, two systems are our basic principles for resolving the Taiwan question. The principles have been reiterated in the white paper, The Taiwan Question and China's Reunification in the New Era that we recently released.
以和平方式实现祖国统一，最符合包括台湾同胞在内的中华民族整体利益，最有利于中国的长期稳定发展，是我们解决台湾问题的第一选择。我们愿继续以最大的诚意，尽最大努力，争取和平统一，为和平统一创造空间。
National reunification by peaceful means best serves the interests of the Chinese nation as a whole, including our compatriots in Taiwan, and it works best for the long-term stability and development of China. It is our first choice in resolving the Taiwan question. We will continue to strive for peaceful reunification with utmost sincerity and utmost effort, and create vast space for peaceful reunification.
我们不承诺放弃使用武力，保留采取一切必要措施的选项。针对的是外部势力干涉和极少数台独分裂分子及其分裂活动，绝不是针对台湾同胞。目的是从根本上维护祖国和平统一的前景，推进祖国和平统一进程。
We don't renounce the use of force and reserve the option of taking all necessary measures. This is to guard against external interference and a small handful of Taiwan independence elements and their separatist moves. By no means does this target fellow Chinese in Taiwan. The ultimate goal is to uphold the prospect of peaceful reunification and promote this process.
但凡有一线和平解决的可能，我们都将付出100倍的努力。非和平方式将是不得已情况下做出的最后选择。
As long as there is a slim chance for peaceful reunification, we will do our level best. Use of force is a last resort under compelling circumstances.
当前台独分裂势力不断谋独挑衅，外部势力加紧以台制华，严重损害中华民族根本利益和两岸同胞切身利益，严重危害台海和平稳定，严重冲击和平统一的前景。任其发展下去，只会将台湾推向灾难深渊。 给广大台湾同胞带来深重祸害。
As we speak, the Taiwan independence forces keep making provocations. External forces are doubling down on using Taiwan to contain China. All this severely undermines the fundamental interests of the Chinese nation and immediate interests of compatriots across the Taiwan Strait, severely jeopardizes peace and stability across the strait, and severely threatens the prospect of peaceful reunification. If left unchecked, it will plunge Taiwan into the abyss and bring disaster to our compatriots.
任何人、任何势力都不要低估我们捍卫国家主权和领土完整的坚强决心、坚定意志和强大能力。
No one and no force should underestimate our strong resolve, firm will, and great capability to defend national sovereignty and territorial integrity.
希望广大台湾同胞认清一个道理，那就是统一有好处，台独是绝路，外人靠不住。
We hope our Taiwan compatriots would come to see this. Reunification has bright prospects. Taiwan independence leads to nowhere, and those external forces are unreliable.
两岸同胞要携起手来，坚决反对台独分裂和外来干涉，共同开创实现祖国和平统一的光明未来。谢谢。
We call upon our fellow Chinese in Taiwan to join us in opposing separatist move for Taiwan independence and the external interference, and ushering in the bright future of peaceful reunification of the motherland. Thank you.
最后两个问题，中区前排左起第二位男士。
谢谢发言人。俄通塔斯社记者提问：中国共产党走到今天已经成立101年，执政73年，党员队伍庞大。我的问题是，中共作为一个百年大党，是否受到压力和是否享受压力和挑战？你们讲要长期执政，怎么能做到？谢谢。
Russian news agency TASS. The CPC has been established for 101 years and has governed for 73 years. It has a huge number of party members. How will it ensure long-term governance?
这确实是一个值得警醒和深入思考的问题。
This indeed is a question that should always be kept on our mind.
我们党历史这么长，规模这么大，执政时间这么久，如何跳出治乱兴衰的历史周期率，是我们需要不断做出回答的历史性课题。
The CPC is a big party with a long history, governing for so many decades. How can we avoid the history's cycle of rise and fall is a constant question for us to answer.
实际上，70多年前，就有人曾经向我们党提出过这样的问题。毛泽东同志当时的回答是：让人民来监督政府。经过100年奋斗，特别是新时代的实践，习近平总书记给出了第二个答案，那就是自我革命。
The same question actually was brought to us over 70 years ago. At that time, Comrade Mao Zedong's answer was, let the people supervise government. Now, based on the party's centennial struggle, and especially the experience in the new era, General Secretary Xi Jinping has offered us the second answer, the party's self-reform.
自我革命精神是中国共产党永葆青春活力的重要支撑。我们党历经100年沧桑，更加充满活力。其中的奥妙就在于始终坚持真理，修正错误，敢于直面问题，勇于自我革命。
The CPC has been committed to self-reform. That is the source of its youthful vigor. The party has emerged from a century of vicissitudes with ever greater vitality, and the secret lies in its commitment to upholding truth, righting errors, and its courage to confront problems and reform itself.
党的18大以来，以习近平同志为核心的党中央坚持和加强党的全面领导，坚持党要管党，全面从严治党，特别是坚持不懈反对四风，坚定不移开展反腐败斗争，打出一套自我革命的组合拳，不断清除一切损害党的先进性和纯洁性的因素，不断清除一切侵蚀党的健康机体的病毒，形成一整套自我净化、自我完善、自我革新、自我提高的制度规范体系，为党不变质、不变色、不变味提供了保障。
Since the party's 18th National Congress, the Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core has upheld and strengthened the party's overall leadership, underscored the party's self-supervision and full and rigorous self-governance. Relentless efforts have been made to tackle pointless formalities, bureaucraticism, hedonism, and extravagance, and to fight corruption. A mix of measures were adopted to remove factors detrimental to the party's advanced nature and integrity, eliminating viruses that would erode its health. A set of norms and institutions have been placed for the party to purify, reform, and cleanse itself, thus preserving its essence, nature, and character.
生于忧患，死于安乐，这是历史给我们的启示。
History tells us that one thrives in adversity, but stagnates in laxity.
我们将常怀忧虑，居安思危，勇敢面对各种风险挑战，坚定不移推进党的自我革命，深入推进新时代党的建设伟大工程，确保党在新时代坚持和发展中国特色社会主义的历史进程中始终成为坚强领导核心。谢谢。
We will take the long-term and strategic view, mindful of potential dangers and confront risks of all kinds. We will remain steadfast in advancing the party's self-reform and the great project of party building in the new era. The goal is for the party to remain the strong leadership core that steers the course of upholding and developing socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era. Thank you.
最后一个问题，请东区第5排右起第2位记者提问。
大家好，我是乌兹别克斯坦人民亚龙巴奥记者Руслан Кинжаев。 the People's World newspaper, Uzbekistan. The question is, the National Congress of CPC will be held soon. So at the Congress, the main task of China for the next 5 years will be outlined. How will the Belt and Road Initiative develop in the next 5 years, and what will be planned by China? 谢谢。
乌兹别克斯坦人民言论报，举世瞩目的中共20大即将举行，会议将规划中国未来5年的主要任务。未来5年，“一带一路”倡议将如何发展？中方有何计划？
丝绸之路是我们的先人筚路蓝缕开创出来的一条经济贸易之路、文明交往之路。
The Silk Road was opened by our ancestors for trade and cultural interactions.
历史启迪现实，习近平总书记提出“一带一路”重大倡议，得到国际社会热情响应和广泛参与。
History is a source of inspiration. The Belt and Road Initiative proposed by General Secretary Xi Jinping has been warmly received and participated by the international community.
这一倡议提出并实施9年来，中国同140多个国家、30多个国际组织签署共建“一带一路”合作文件，相关合作理念和主张写入联合国和多个国际组织重要成果文件。“一带一路”已经成为广受欢迎的国际公共产品，成为推动构建人类命运共同体的重要实践平台。
Over the past 9 years, China has signed Belt and Road cooperation documents with over 140 countries and 30+ international organizations. The relevant ideas and proposals have been written into the documents of the UN and multiple international organizations. The Belt and Road has become an international public good, welcomed by many countries and an important platform for building a community with a shared future for mankind.
一带一路建设秉持共商、共建、共享的原则，着力推进政策沟通、设施联通、贸易畅通、资金融通、民心相通，探索了促进共同发展的新路子，实现了共建国家互利共赢，为全球经济增长提供了新的驱动力。
The BRI follows the principle of extensive consultation, joint contribution, and shared benefits, advancing policy, infrastructure, trade, financial, and people-to-people connectivity. With partner countries, we have explored new paths for joint development, realized win-win cooperation, and contributed new driving force for global economic growth.
截至今年6月，中国与沿线国家货物贸易总额累计约12万亿美元，一大批务实合作项目落地，为当地经济发展、民生改善做出了实实在在的贡献。
By this June, China's trade in goods with Belt and Road partner countries has reached around $12 trillion. A large number of practical cooperation projects have been delivered, contributing to local development and people's livelihoods.
100多个国家参加2届“一带一路”国际合作高峰论坛，凝聚起共建“一带一路”、构建全球互联互通伙伴关系的广泛共识，勾画了 高质量共建“一带一路”，实现各国共同发展繁荣的合作蓝图。
More than 100 countries have participated in the 2 editions of the Belt and Road Forum on international cooperation, forging extensive consensus on building the Belt and Road together and global partnerships on connectivity. Together, we have drawn the blueprint of cooperation for high-quality development of the Belt and Road and for common prosperity of all countries.
站在新的起点上，我们将继续践行共商、共建、共享的原则，弘扬开放、绿色、廉洁的理念，以高标准、可持续、惠民生为目标，努力实现更高合作水平、更高投入效益、更高供给质量、更高发展韧性，推动共建“一带一路”高质量发展不断取得新成效。
At the new starting point, we will continue to follow the principle of extensive consultation, joint contribution, and shared benefits, pursue openness, green and clean development, aiming at high standard, sustainable and people-centered growth. We will strive for higher standard cooperation, deliverables from inputs, higher quality supply, and stronger resilience in development. This way, we will continue to advance the high-quality development of the Belt and Road cooperation.
谢谢大家。
Thank you all.
各位记者朋友，今天的新闻发布会到此结束。大会期间，20大新闻中心还将安排多场记者招待会和集体采访，欢迎大家参加。谢谢孙业礼先生，谢谢各位记者朋友。
Friends from the press conference now concludes. The Press Center is going to organize other press conferences and group interviews for your attendance. Thank you, Mr. Sun Yeli. Thank you all.
A live press conference there at the Great Hall of the People in anticipation of the upcoming Party Congress, which will begin tomorrow. The spokesperson there obviously briefing the media on the agenda items of the upcoming Party Congress, and then, of course, took questions from members of the press and media, which covered a wide range of areas, everything from high-quality economic growth to comprehensively deepening reforms in all sectors, and, of course, to China's pandemic control measures. Let's discuss this further with my studio guests, Wang Xingsong and Li Yong. Gentlemen, thank you so much for staying with me. Obviously, this press conference reviews what the party has achieved in the past 5 years and beyond. Everyone was looking for clues and glimpses into what could possibly be formulated at the upcoming Party Congress, which starts tomorrow. Mr. Li, you were taking extensive notes as this conference was going. What did you hear? What stood out for you?
The whole process reminded me of just one word, which I will be using again as a kind of an acronym, and that is sober. Okay, S is the strategic focus that this conference is going to have, is going to show us. And second is optimization. I think all the effort, going forward will be optimizing, the efficiency, resources, to achieve high quality development, okay, and in the context of new development patterns, okay, and B, I think, is belief in the CPC leadership, okay, belief in the socialism with Chinese characteristics, and that is the fundamental cornerstone of the whole thing. Okay, and R means resilience. So all the effort, will not just address the growth issues, but also establish resilience in face of the headwinds, of the challenges, difficulties, and risks, and so on. And the last word, I would use E as environmental transformation. Okay, that means the economy will be shifting to fight against climate change. Okay, to work out plans, for example, towards the carbon peak and carbon zero emission and so on and so forth. So I think from this is what I really took away from this conference. I have a strong sense that we are going into sober direction. Okay.
I'm very impressed with your vocabulary, first of all, and also in light of the challenges and issues, one has to stay very sober, and the governing party has to stay very sober and strong in those circumstances. Professor Wang, what did you hear in terms of policy directions that could possibly be formulated?
Well, I think Mr. Li just gave a very nice summary. My takeaways, though, I'd like to start with the first part of the press conference where he briefed the entire press about the preparatory steps taken before this upcoming Congress. Obviously, the major items for discussion at the upcoming Congress will include the review of the work report and the report by the Central Commission of Discipline and Inspection, and also the amendments of the party's constitution. And so the spokesperson gave very many details of how these documents were actually prepared, and all these processes remind me of how the whole process of democracy took place in China and how political participation actually took place in China. For example, I think he made it very clear that the preparation of all these documents, important key documents, was not a closed-door event. This was actually going through rounds and rounds of deliberations, consultations, sometimes even debates, soliciting public opinions and workshops, etc., etc. And it didn't just happen like one shot. I think he was very clear in saying that the process started with setting up a writing group, for example, for the work report. And the working report then started to solicit opinions on what to be included in the report. So there was no pre-existing agenda on what the report was going to include. Actually, they solicited opinions about what was going to be included on this report. Then, after the agenda was set, then they went out again to the fields, talking to all kinds of people, asking them their opinions on what to be discussed, what to be included on all these agenda items within the framework. So you see, this is a very sophisticated process of drafting the work report and other key documents as a way of showing how participation is really happening on a day-to-day basis.
It was a lot of back and forth.
I would like to jump in. What he said, I think it is very well said about the process and procedures. What I think I can use a couple of keywords to describe this. One is fully transparent, because the whole process is a process of transparent discussion, deliberation, review, suggestions, debate, and so on. So the whole process is that it means that the work report is not really a kind of edited by a group of people, but it is it is a demonstration of the whole democracy process. So this is really very important. The second thing is representation. We talked about the representation of the representatives. Okay, but in this report, we also see the representation of the people's concerns and interests and what they wish to have.
Absolutely.
And this is very important. Okay, and the third keyword, I think, is the review of what we have done. Okay, this is very important, because if we don't really have a correct assessment or the review of what we have achieved, and if we don't draw any lessons, that will reduce the weight of this work report.
Right.
So these are, what the processes and procedures are trying to guarantee. And that is going to determine, okay, the most important significance of this Congress, and eventually, the work report will be the guidance of the future development. And of course, we can also expect, through debate, revisions, and so on.
That's a very good point, because I was going to say that also, because a lot of those back and forth work was to make sure that the report was representative, that it had enough opinions from all walks of life. Mr. Lee, I do want to get very specific with you on the economic and trade front, because obviously that was on the mind of a lot of reporters in attendance. People raised concerns about China's economy slowing down and what the party considers high quality growth at this moment. They were also asking about whether the dual circulation mode, what that means going forward at this point. Does it mean domestic market will be prioritized? A lot of those concerns. I mean, in terms of economic and trade issues, what did you get from the press conference?
First, I think, from this conference, the comments by the spokesperson, clearly expressed China's confidence. The role China has played over the past decade especially, the size of GDP has increased, for example, at an annual rate of 6%, higher than the world average and higher than the average rate of 3.7 of developing countries, and so on and so forth. And, of course, we are facing some sort of a downward pressure. But there's one reality that we have to admit, which is as the size of your economy increases, the rate of increase is going to slow. But if you look at the absolute number, 1 year of lower percentage of growth could be way far larger.
Understood.
Okay, than the absolute number of a higher growth rate. So I think we need to understand that. Okay, so we are focusing on the quality of the development, not just on the speed. Okay, which means quality of development is going to support a reasonable speed of development. So that is the core issue. That is the essence of economic development and related, policy making.
Right.
So this is what I see in terms of economic development. Okay, in terms of trade, China, starting from 2017, China became the #1 country in terms of its goods trade. And starting from 2020, 2 years ago, China ranks #1 in trade, in terms of trade in goods and services, which means that China is going to play a very pivotal role of, for example, promoting free trade, continued globalization, multilateralism, because this is not just going to benefit China. Okay, from the various type of efforts China has made to benefit, for example, countries around the world.
Right.
We have the Expo of Consumer Products, we have Import Expo, we have other service expos.
A lot of supporting measures and mechanisms and framework is essentially.
Yes. And most important of all, the one shared feature of those are open. Okay, they have open door, open looped connections, and with open ideas and, of course, open arms.
Right. We don't have a lot of time left. Let me also get the take from Professor Wang here. In terms of confidence building from this press conference, what do you think were the key messages sent to people with concerns about China's economic status?
Well, I was actually going to talk about the second key takeaway I got from the press conference, which is that I see, after looking at the spokesperson's answers to all these questions, I feel that there is a lot of continuity going to happen, which is a very good thing, because the world is very uncertain, and under this uncertain circumstance, we need stability, we need sustainability. And as we see in the past decade, and beyond, China has achieved a lot of accomplishments in various grounds. And we have accumulated experience, we have learned lessons, and all of that would become an asset from which we can carry forward. In upcoming Congress, I'm very confident that China is confident enough to keep moving with all these experiences.
All right, I gotta run. We are out of time here, but thank you so much for staying with us. And that wraps up our special coverage on the upcoming Party Congress. We do appreciate your company. I'm Zhongshi in Beijing, and news continues on CGTN.